Hello, this is Daryl here, sending love as always. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to say if you like this interview, you can check our website for companion workbooks, action guides, tools, checklists, templates, and show notes with links for everything mentioned on the call. Just visit bestbusinesscoach.ca. That's best, BEST, businesscoach.ca. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Daryl Urbanski, and welcome to the Best Business Podcast. My mission is to help create 200 new multimillionaire business owners. How? You'll do better when you know better. In my interviews, you'll hear from self-made millionaires, seven-figure business owners, authors, and world-class experts sharing how they did it so you can too without experiencing the same obstacles they did. When your life and your business grow as a result of what you're about to discover, please call me and tell me about it. The number to leave a voicemail is 1-888-844-GROW. That's 1-888-844-4769. Long distance charges may apply. Dial now to call me, connect, share your personal story of how my interviews have helped, or share your current challenges and frustrations so I can connect you with an appropriate course, coach, or help you if you connect. Now, if you like this interview, please share it with a friend you think will benefit. They'll appreciate it, and I will as well. You can also connect with me on social media. Look for Daryl Urbanski, D-A-R-Y-L, Urban Ski, U-R-B-A-N-S-K-I, and add me so we can be friends. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy what I've prepared for you right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Daryl Urbanski, your host as always. Today we are joined by a returning guest, the sales whisperer, Wes Schaeffer. And Wes is a ruthlessly pragmatic entrepreneur, sales trainer, copywriter, and speaker who believes marketing is just selling in print. He's the author of The Sales Whisperer Way and the definitive guide to Infusionsoft. Wes combines common sense with formal training and attention to detail pounded into his hard-headed skull during 4 years at the United States Air Force Academy to help professional salespeople, sales managers, business owners, and entrepreneurs achieve nearly miraculous growth fast. After being in the game almost as long as I have, and interviewing, well, actually, maybe longer than I have, and interviewing countless experts, I thought I'd ask Wes to come on our show again to share with us some of his wisdom about the importance of having sales be the focus of your business. He now calls Southern California home with his wife of 20 plus years and their 7 children. Yes, 7 children. He knows what causes that and refuses to give it up. So, Wes, thank you for joining us, my friend. I appreciate your time and coming back. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having me too. So we just talked about this before the show, and I think it's really important because a lot of people get caught up in. When you have different clients, you work with different people. Everybody has different KPIs they want to focus on. Some people want to focus on reach. Some people want to focus on engagement. Some people want to focus on leads. Some people want to focus on bottom line revenue. But at the end, that's where I feel at the end of the day, the name of the game kind of is about sales. Would you agree? Do you think that that's not? Are you? What about Elon Musk saying, we're not about like? Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, how important is sales?
Look, Elon Musk is hanging out smoking dope with Joe Rogan, man. So you can't trust anything that guy says, all right? Yeah, I mean, bottom line revenue, that's the measurement, right? It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Hmm.
Jeff Bezos now, he can probably argue that a bit. I think it's been a while. It took him a long time to make some money, but it's a whole nother beast. For you and me, we need to make money, right? If we spend money on Monday, on marketing efforts, we need it to come back by Friday. We got bills to pay, and it's too easy to get caught up in all this fun stuff, Instagram stories, and getting Facebook followers and whatnot. But it's like, how do you monetize all of that? People forget every everything you do online or direct mail or at a trade show or on the phone is selling. You're selling me on clicking. You're selling me on watching your video. You're selling me on why should I like or comment or share? Why should I subscribe? Why should I make you my default, or move you to see first instead of standard, on notifications? All of that is a sale. And, selling, the word sales, it has a negative connotation now, but it comes from the Norwegian word that means to serve. And so if you really understand that and internalize it, it's going to change how you do business, it's going to change how you live.
Right. So for a lot of our businesses, we have to sell or die, but people don't like selling. So is that because they're approaching it the wrong way? Is that, is what are
Yeah,
yeah.
it's and hey, I don't like hardcore, pushy, cheesy, you know, takeaway closes, traditional selling either. Um, but you need to understand that every interaction is a sale. Okay. When you go out to eat, it's a sale. How how does the front of the store look? Do they make you see a hostess and then go sit down and wait?
Mhm, mhm.
What's the sound like? What's the lighting like? What are the smells? Okay, when they show you the menu, okay, they have prepared that menu to maximize their profits. Okay, and when they tell you the special, and then oh, you'd like to have a salad instead of fries with that. Oh, well, that's $1 extra. Really? Do you have to charge me that? Oh, I'll just bring it to you. You know, it's all a
Mhm.
sale. It's like a fish like waking up one day and going, "Oh my gosh, I'm in water. I don't want to be in water." Like, well, tough luck. You're a fish. You're going to be in water. And so, as a human, you're in sales. Okay, so either you are part of someone else's plan or you're working your plan. That's it. And so, people, you can think you're not in sales, but I guarantee you, people are working processes on you, okay, to get your attention, to get your money.
Now, you hit a key point there. I think that might be helpful to talk about. So you said people are working processes on you, and you said to get your attention and get your money. So let's talk about some stuff. I mean, I think I'm pretty good at sales. I probably have a I could probably be way better, like with any skill. But I think where a lot of people, like you said, like when people try too hard, and then that's where it makes them also awkward. Can we talk about how to maybe approach sales with a different perspective? Like what I said there is first get their attention. So there's a process to it, right? It's not just going for a home run with the home right with the for with every ball that comes across the plate. Um, First, you have to get their attention. I mean, that's the old school AIDA, right? Attention, interest, desire, action. That's been around forever. Has that changed? Is that updated? How does that translate to the new world? Is there a way that people can kind of figure like how working a pipeline and the different stages that people would move through? Is there, for people that are starting out and struggling, is there kind of context or framework you can give them so they're just not like, hey, buy my stuff, hey, buy my stuff, hey, buy my stuff? How do they do that with a little more finesse?
Yeah, well, it's recognizing that you have to do it with finesse. And yeah, everything is the same because humans are the same. Okay, since cavemen were drawing on walls, the human mind hasn't really evolved. And literally, I mean, what was going on in the caveman brain still goes on in our brains. We think we have to fight for survival. We think that there's saber-toothed tigers out there that we have to avoid. We think this is our last meal. We don't know where our next meal is going to come from. We got to get out there and hunt and kill. And so it's ridiculous, but it is. So it's like the fish in water. You're in water, so deal with it. So you need to understand how the human mind works. It is I equate selling with dating. It's very much the same. If you're too aggressive in your approach to a woman at a bar, how you want to ask her to dance, you're going to get rejected. So it's the same thing in sales. If I just walk up to you in the store, hey, you want to buy something? Hey, here's an iPhone. You want to buy it? Hey, we got furniture on sale. You want to buy it? It's a turnoff. So there's got to be some courtship in there. There's got to be some little bit of a strategy, right? But there's also this fancy word, called congruence. Everything you do needs to match. When Walmart runs an ad, they're not showing, marble floors and plush carpet and Starbucks cappuccino served in China when you don't have a concierge meet you at the door when you go into Walmart. Their sale is everyday low prices. Whereas Nordstrom's, they do greet you. You do have someone help you walk around the store and help you buy. So their ads are different. So that's what's congruent. Okay, just like in dating, if you're reaching out to this woman and you send these nice letters and they're very elegant, like handwritten letters, and you send chocolates and a dozen roses, and it's on this fine parchment paper. And then you pull up in a 20-year-old, Toyota Corolla, and the windows don't work. And you're in cut off jeans and messy hair, smoking cigarettes. She's going to be like, something isn't quite right here. Okay. And anytime the human mind is confused, it says no.
Right.
So that congruency plays in. So how you project yourself online, and that includes your paid advertising, right? But so your social media, what are you putting out there? What are your ads putting out there? When they hit your website, what do they see? Is it a congruent experience? And so that's why I have a program called Make Every Sale. And so the concept, the ultimate goal is that you make every sale you ever get a chance. That's like a baseball player saying they're going to get a hit every time. It's not practical, but it's a goal, right? You can strive for it. Maybe you can get a hit every at bat in one game. Even that's nice. You go 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. People are going to remember you. But the other concept is, behind make every sale is understanding that to make any sale, you have to make every sale. We were talking before we hit record, about our spouses and how we met. And, when I met my wife at a country bar. And so I showered, right? I did my hair.
Sorry, I
I
just sorry.
Yeah, but it's that fundamental, right?
Yeah.
I showered, I put on clean clothes, deodorant and cologne, and I shined my boots.
Right.
So is that manipulate? Was I manipulating her? Because you know what? I don't shave every day,
Hmm.
right? I shave like twice a week because she makes me. So so I shaved. I got cleaned. I get there early. I ask her to dance. How I conduct myself. Each one of those is a sale
Hmm.
because we judge each other. So she sees my boots are shine. She sees that I'm clean. She sees that I smell good. I brush my teeth. I don't have stinky breath. Each of those is a little sale. How I approach her was a sale.
Hmm.
Did I know how to dance? Yes, I did. So that was a sale. That was I needy? Oh, you're so beautiful. I'm so glad I came here. I really need to get your number. We should really be exclusive with one another. You can come on too strong.
Hmm.
So every one of those is a sale. Okay. So you need to map this out in your business and make sure you have your processes down.
Right.
And, very few people do that. And so the good news is your competition's lazy. The bad news is you got to stay on top of this because things change. Okay, what worked a year ago isn't working as well today, and it won't work as well in a year. So you got to constantly be
Can you
working on
can
this.
you give an example? What's something that used to work that doesn't work anymore, and what's working now?
Well, there's all kinds. I mean, like when Facebook rolled out pages,
Hmm.
right? You had 80 or 90% exposure. And once they said, okay, this is a pay to play arena, in like 90 days, it went down to about 3%
Yeah.
uh, reach. Okay. Snapchat was all the rage. Then, Facebook, Instagram, buys Instagram. They put in the same kind of features. They crush them.
Yep.
So you're going to see, LinkedIn's all the rage right now. Everybody's a LinkedIn conversion specialist. So yeah, okay, it might work. But now what's happening is because everybody hopped on the Facebook bandwagon, YouTube and Google, old school GDN is coming back in vogue.
Yep.
You're not going to keep Google down. They're going to change things, make it more affordable. So you're going to have this kind of, Ford versus Chevy, right? Each year they're going to kind of leapfrog one another. Maybe they come out with some better technology for a while, but they won't stay in the lead forever. They're going to, and that's happening now as well.
Right. That's actually something that's fairly recent, like the end of the last year. People started to talk about Google more, especially YouTube, because you get free ad spend on YouTube if people don't engage with your ad. So let's
Uh-huh.
talk. Let's talk about the phases here. Like, how? All right. How does? Let's make some practical. Let's make this practical for people in terms of. I mean, it's all been practical, but let's give some concrete examples of how to do this. So first of all, you can't sell anyone if you don't have lead flow, right? That's good. 101. If you don't have a flow of potential prospects, what do you do, right? So, how do we do that? How do we do that in today's day and age? How do we generate like quality leads or people? How do we generate interest and qualify them?
Well, it's a big, tall order.
It is a tall order.
Um, it depends on your business. Um, people, I think people haven't been in sales. They haven't literally picked up the phone or gone door to door and met with people in person to really understand what's going on.
Mm.
Because there's a lot to it. When you run an ad, well, guess what? Even you run an ad on Facebook, you're going to have to change that ad up every month, if not every week. You're going to have a rotation of ads. So now you got to split test your ad copy. You got to split test the headline, the image, the call to action, the URL that's displayed. Well, then you take them to a landing page. Well, do you take them to a landing page or do you take them to your Facebook page? And from there, what do you do with it? Are you going to use your instant messenger, one of these bots? Or are you going to take them to your website? When you take them to your website, is that going to be like a gated uh, piece of information, or do you give them free information and then retarget them? There's a lot of things going on there, and people, well, I'm a funnel hacker. Well, great, go hack. Funnel hacking works if you have a very simple offer and you're selling to a consumer, and it's a one call kind of close sort of thing, or something that is very simple to understand, and people can make a quick decision. If you're selling B2B, you know, you're trying to sell $1 million of technology like I did to Google, or you're trying to sell $600,000 in coaching like I did to Dell. You're not funnel hacking them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You better show up showered with deodorant on and brushing your teeth. Okay. And understand who the stakeholders are and how to build a consensus to get somebody to spend 6 or 7 figures with you. That's a different sale. But each one, there's a process, and it is the same thing: the attention, the interest, right? The desire. If there's no call to action, there's no action taken. So it's not a one size fits all as far as what works, but at its core, it is, because humans are humans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you need to understand that we as salespeople have to adjust how we sell to match how our prospects prefer to buy. Okay. If you have an 84 slide deck, and a 200-page manual and, brochure, and you're going to go through the whole thing, and you're dealing with a high D, a high I, a charger, a dominant, an influencer, you don't go through that presentation.
Right.
Okay.
They don't have the attention span or the interest in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So you cut to the chase, but you need to recognize that as the salesperson, right? We have to see, pick up on the signals, and deliver it the way they want. But most people don't. They do their own thing. It's like, hey, this is the way I do it. This is how we're going to do it. Tough luck. But the problem is, it's tough luck for you. Okay, because if you don't adjust how you sell, you're only going to sell 20 to 30% of the people that you meet, and you could easily double that if you had a process.
So right. So that leads into my next question. Where if someone wants to master this skill, how do you like? If I know I can go to the gym and I can rep things out, right? I want to be able to do muscle ups. I want to be able to do a handstand, right? I can just rep this out. I can put in 10,000 hours and hammer that out. What do you have to do that for sales? What are some of the key tenets that you need to focus on? The skills you need to develop? Oh, you there? Oh,
Daryl.
hey, everybody there? Can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello.
Hey man, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just disappeared for a bit.
Oh, all right. Let me make a note. I'll have our audio guy edit that out. All right. Sorry, I was asking about how do we rep this out? My question,
Yeah.
yeah. Did you hear that part? And then I just disappeared, or?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I kept going. There was kind of some static. It just went away. So I wrapped up my answer. I mean, you heard the whole answer,
I
right?
heard your whole answer, and then I
Okay.
replied, and then it was like
Oh,
maybe I was on mute the whole time. Maybe I didn't unclick mute because I went on. I gave the answer, and I was like, Here, hold on. I'm just going to make a quick note of the timestamp. So 17 to 18, well, probably 19. Okay. So check 17 to 19 minutes. All right. So my question was, and I'll repeat this again just in case it was. So how does somebody rep this out? Like I know that if I go to the gym and I want to, master muscle ups or I want to learn how to do a handstand, I know that I can just focus on a few skills and I can just put in the 10,000 hours to try to master that. What are those what are those skills that I need to master as a sales rep or in sales in general, not the sales rep, but to help master sales?
Well, it's understanding that you got to get the reps in. Um, Understanding that your number one job is to prospect. Okay, it's not to sell, because I can't control if somebody buys from me. Okay, and you have no guarantee that you're going to hit your muscle up goal, but you can show up every day, right? You can, skip the beer and have an iced tea, right? You can skip the cupcakes and, have an egg white omelet, and do that for 90 days or 6 months, while you do your lifts. But then, even recognize, the hip bone's connected to the leg bone, right? And you start doing pull-ups, maybe you recognize you don't have good grip strength, so you got to work on your forearms and your wrists and your hands. You may recognize that your shoulders are weak. You got to add some shoulders in there. And then, oh man, the core really kicks in. Oh, I better start doing more sit ups and ab work and whatnot. Right. So you start expanding, but you can control, form follows function.
Right.
You, you do the function of the lifts and then like, where are you sore? Where are you having to cheat to compensate to get that last one? Okay, that tells you where you need to focus. So in sales, you need to recognize prospecting is your number one job. If you say the right things and make the right offers to enough of the right people, if you deliver a powerful message in a powerful manner, it will land in the inbox of the people you need to reach. Okay. But you got to do that day in and day out. So that's what, even if you're, all online, well, you still look, you don't have one ad and you run that same ad for like 5 years. Okay. Again, it's called ad fatigue. Goes back to how the brain works, going back to cavemen. We're talking about reticular activations and the Broca area of the brain. It's when we see something that's new, the brain goes, oh, can I kill it? Can I eat it? Or can I have sex with it? Okay. That's what the brain's literally
Mm-hmm.
computing when it sees something new. So it looks at it and goes, oh, that's an ad. That looks somewhat interesting. Let me click on it. Oh, yeah, this isn't for me. Or I don't have time. Then after it sees it a few more times, we literally develop blind spots. We don't see the ad anymore. Okay, so you got
Right.
to rotate it, you got to change it. So even if it's all online, you have to understand how the brain works and how you have to continually be updating things. That's why you see big companies like, McDonald's and the US Army and Coca-Cola. I mean, they change their taglines and their slogans because society changes over time. And what worked now, you know, or what worked then, it won't work now. So prospecting is your number one job. You need to understand great salespeople don't overcome objections, they anticipate them and address them and negate them, neutralize them before they come up.
Mm, mm, mm. So
Okay.
so we need to keep prospecting, and then we need to anticipate the questions that they're going to have and make them feel comfortable about that from the beginning. Going back to the dating analogy, if your goal is to get laid, have the condom in advance and drop the hint that you have a condom before she could even before it even comes up to his ass, or at least be prepared if it gets there, right? So that way you don't have any objections to the sale.
Yeah, but even then, right? If I walked up to my future wife and said, "Hey, would you like to dance?" And by the way,
I have a condom. Yeah, that's yeah.
I have a condom. She's going to be like, "Yeah, why don't you meet my dad and my brother who are also here so they can kick your ass?"
Right.
Okay. So you got to be careful when you deliver that little nugget of knowledge.
Right. Yeah. So going back to this, all right, so first we're prospecting all the time. We're getting people to raise their hands. Out of that, we have to qualify them, ask the questions, make sure that it's a good fit for everybody involved. And then, I mean, again, I what I appreciate here is you're not giving like here's a two-step close because I think you're right that people are people and it's about conversations and it's not necessarily about tricks and that tricks aren't going to work. But I love that you do the follow, trust the process. So is there what I want to ask? I guess what are some of the biggest mistakes people make in that process? So you doing all the training sessions you've done, seeing where people get tripped up. Sounds like prospecting is a big one. They stop prospecting. What are the other kind of catch points that people get tripped up on? I mean, once you have someone in conversation, you almost can never lose them. I mean, well, tell me if I'm wrong, but I was kind of told, in some ways, if you're doing it ethically and you're coming up and you and if you have something meaningful to say, you could basically be like the guy in Green Eggs and Ham. Would you eat them in a
Yeah.
boat? Would you eat them, right? Like you could keep coming back and back, even if they've said no, you can come back as long as you've got an ethical reason. And you're not just harassing someone, right? Because if you harass them, they're just not going to listen anyways. You don't have their attention or their interest, right? But if
Right.
you can have a meaningful reason to come back, you've almost never lost the lead. No might just be not now, right? Again,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. And uh, it's having a system, having a process, and working the system. We're too used to this instant gratification. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu now for 2 years this month, and
what?
it's
Who
yeah,
who
and
are you
it's
training with? You got your blue belt now, right?
right.
That's awesome.
Um,
Love
yeah,
jujitsu.
it's a humbling experience. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's great.
little guys, you know, tune me up, man.
You got to work on your transitions. That's what it is. Yeah, you're 2 years in. You're probably still mastering submissions, trying to get to them. It's all about the transitions. It's all
Yeah,
about learning. Anyway, sorry, I trained for 6.5 years. Yeah, I love jujitsu. Yeah, brother
yeah.
from another mother.
It's understanding, seeing the big picture, right? And because you're probably losing sales right now and don't even know why. It's just like when you're brand new in jujitsu. I mean, you get destroyed. You don't even know what happens.
Right. Yeah,
Then
you're
you
so
move.
close. This guy's got 8 limbs. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I was fighting a guy yesterday and really good brown belt, and super quick, and he got me a dozen times, he but he was complimenting as we're going, right? Uh, I'm seeing some of the moves, right? I'm fighting off his initial attacks, but yeah, he's got better transition, so he just goes from 1 to 2 to 3, and I can't stop all three.
Right.
But at least I'm seeing one and maybe two,
Yeah.
whereas before I saw none.
That's right.
So I got to tell people all the time if like for example, let's say you ask me, Wes, hey man, how much is HubSpot software? And I say, well, Daryl, it's normally $3,000 down and $800 a month. What did I really just tell you?
Well, you told me a commitment. You told me
Well,
it's.
no, I said it's normally 3 grand
Oh,
and
okay.
800 a month.
Okay.
How would you respond?
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on my level of engagement in terms of like if you tell me that.
No, you're missing one word.
What?
If I say, Daryl, this is normally $3,000 down and
Oh,
800 a month.
okay. So
What did I really just tell you?
well, you got me curious.
I got you curious, but how would you respond to that?
Well, again, if I'm really interested, I go, okay. Well, if it's normally that, what is the price now?
There you go. And then as a salesperson, I go back to my sales manager and I say, this software sucks. It's overpriced. Everybody wants a discount. But what I did, I invited the discount. I invited the price objection because of the words that I used and my
Mm,
tonality on how I delivered it.
got it.
Okay. Instead of saying, Daryl, the professional, there's basic, there's professional, and there's enterprise. I think based on what you've told me, you need the professional level. It starts at $3,000 down, $800 a month. It includes 90 days onboarding. You get my bonus, boom, boom, boom. It includes access to the Make Every Sale program. It includes, porting over your entire blog, 60 pages of your website redesigned, blah, 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 blah. When would you like to get started? Okay, now I'm adding value. I'm justifying the cost, but people don't do that. Okay, so salespeople. That's what I'm saying. Your number one job is a prospect. You need to have a process. You need to make sure you're not inviting objections into your life, which most people are. Right, just like jujitsu. If your hand placement is the wrong area, if your foot's in the wrong area, you're leading with your head and just open yourself up to guillotines. Like, the guy always gets me in a guillotine. Well, yeah, idiot. You just
Sticking your neck hair.
jump at him. He knows you're going to do that. He just sits up and throws his arm under you, and bam, yeah, you're going to die. Stop doing that. But see, it's hard to see. Like I say, you can't read the label from inside the bottle. Okay, you don't know you're doing anything wrong. Like, well, I watched all the YouTube videos. I'm doing just like they do in the YouTube videos. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? I'm 6'2", 225 pounds. I'm 48 years old. I can't move like that 30-year-old, 6 foot tall, 180-pound guy.
Right.
Who's also a black belt, and I'm a blue belt.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm moving like him, but I can open my legs up like 90 degrees. He can do a full split. He's going to do things differently. So do you care enough to have a coach? Do you care enough to record yourself? When I got serious about sales, I hired a coach, and the first thing he made me do was record my prospecting calls. Then we broke them down. So when I got serious about golf, I was 23 years old. I went to a golf pro. He filmed me. When I got serious about speaking, I went to a speaking coach, 2-day workshop. They film you. Okay. You want to get serious? Record yourself, have somebody sit there and listen, make the calls while they're there. That's how you're turning into a professional and not a dabbler.
So it sounds like, again, this is about harnessing like any craft, whether it was tennis, whether you're trying to learn how to do the bobsled. It's about time under pressure, time under tension, time in the arena, and then having someone that can help you improve, that can observe, that can watch and give you tips and pointers on how to do it a little bit better. So you just got to get there. You got to go out and embarrass yourself. Got to pick yourself up, go back out again. And sooner than later, somehow, one way or another, you'll start doing this with better finesse. And really, the learning curve is up to you. You can fumble this out and figure it out on your own, but you'll expedite your progress if you're, one, surrounded by people who have the same goal that you have, or two, if you have someone who's specifically there to mentor, coach, and guide you on it.
Right. Yeah, and that's what's hard to find. I think people deep down, we get in our comfort zones. Again, going back to the brain. I mean, how does it work? And being embarrassed, learning something new. I mean, that's all hard. It's scary. It's hard. It's hard to grow beyond any place that you see yourself. Like if you can't envision yourself doing something, you're not going to do it, regardless of who you're around. Right. So do you have a good team? Like my instructor, he's literally finished last year #1 in the world for his age group. And we go hard. Right. And not that I've ever beaten him, but, I've gotten close twice in 2 years. And when and if, I ever do catch him, I don't think he'd be upset.
No.
He'd be like, hey, finally, good job. But he goes hard. But everybody I train with, they don't care if I get them.
Right.
And it took me about 18 months to not care if a smaller, younger, less experienced person gets me.
Right.
because I'm in there. I'm not there to beat my training partner. I'm there to get better.
Better. Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so, yes, I can do my core set of moves because I'm bigger than most people and I can beat a smaller guy. But I mean, like 2 weeks ago, this guy, he's a brand new blue belt, but he's a lot smaller than me. And I'm like 6 months ahead of him. So, I got size on my side and experience.
Right.
Uh, but I wasn't fighting him to beat him. I tried different moves,
Yes.
right? And it's like, I'm in training. Let me see if I can pull it off. And I couldn't. And I missed it. I tried it, and it was the first time trying to move, and I missed it. He choked me.
Yep.
Okay, I tapped out. We started again. It's like I don't care.
Yep.
It's So are you around people that really have your best interest at heart?
Now,
You know.
does that help with sales to detect? Because now you're talking about being detached from the outcome and just enjoying the process. Now, does that help with sales? What if you have a
For
sales
sure.
manager that's got quotas and you have that outside pressure? Do you still need to try to detach from it and just focus on the process itself?
Um, you absolutely, if you can't detach, the old adage is if you're not ready and willing to walk away from the negotiation table, you have no business being there.
Hmm.
Okay. And that's where you got to figure out, are you in the right company?
Hmm.
That's why I ended up on my own, right? Because I worked for assholes.
Right.
And so I would train, I bought programs on my own. I, tried to get better. And as I got better, I outgrew my coaches.
Right.
Okay. I outgrew my sales managers. And so, like where I train jujitsu, it'll take me 20 years to maybe outgrow my instructor,
Oh yeah.
right? But I mean, after 20 years, he's been doing this 34 years. So in 20 years, he'll be at 54 and I'll be at 22.
Yeah.
So I probably won't outgrow him even in 20.
Hmm.
Okay. So are you around people that help you get better? And so, because look, I understand. I've been there. I've had managers say, at the end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year, you know, you will fly out there and you will sit on their doorstep until they see you. We need this last minute order. Okay. And I wouldn't do it. I mean, fortunately, at least my immediate bosses were cool enough. They're like, you do have to fly up there because they need to see it on your expense report. But I literally flew to another state and sat in the hotel for a day and flew home
Mm.
because that was the kind of pressure we were under at this technology company.
Mm.
So, I didn't stay there long. Um, but if you're desperate, it's like a guy like dating. Guy really wants a girlfriend.
Yeah. No, it's a
You
terrible way
know,
to approach it.
he's running around the bar, whatever, running around high school. Will you go to the prom with me? I really need a date. Please, please, please. And they're like, dude, you're a loser. No. Okay. You got to have some game, even if you are desperate.
Hmm.
If they smell it, if they detect it, they're not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, what about for the people that are listening to this that have heard that you can overteach versus sell? If right, there's consultative selling, but how do you have any tips or advice for that? Like, because there's a lot of concern about what to give away and what to say for free. I hear that all the time. Like some people don't want to say too much because I mean, if you're selling a piece of software, if you're selling like a hard, like a jacket or like a physical item that's different, if you're selling a product or service, sometimes if especially in the expert space, how do you balance that from giving away too much for free? Can you give away too much for free?
Yeah. And like in my role, I mean, owning my own business, you know, what I primarily sell is my brain, right? That's my intellectual property.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I could sit on the phone for a couple of hours and answer all of your questions and everything you think is urgent, and probably give you enough things to go on. Take you months to go implement what I just told you.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a balancing act there, and but the old adage is give away your best stuff for free up front.
Hmm.
All right, but I do that in my own podcast, right? 350 episodes so far, published 351, I think, 5.5 years. I'm starting a second podcast
Nice.
called the CRM Sushi Podcast. I've written 2 books. I blog a bunch. So I the tips are out there. So what people are really paying for is convenience.
Hmm.
Okay. If you want to go listen to 350 podcasts, and if you want to go read 1,000 blog pages or posts on my website, you'll probably find your answer. All right. But you're paying me for convenience. You're paying me to customize and tailor the answer. So, but yeah, you do have to be careful, and that's why I've something your listeners can go get for free is called the Sales Agenda. So it's thesalesagenda.com. And it's the agenda I have followed since 2006. I was still in corporate America. I was just starting the Sales Whisperer, but I was still at a day job, had a family to feed, right? But setting clear expectations up front is so important. I call it close first and then present. I'm
Mm.
telling my prospects, I'm not showing up to entertain you. I'm not showing up to do a dog and pony. Okay. I'm showing up to see if there's a fit. Is there chemistry? Do we even like each other? Okay. Then we'll take it from there. But I'm going to have questions for them, just like a doctor. You don't, the doctor's not sitting there telling you how, you know, amoxicillin seeks out the bacteria and latches on to the, nucleus and blah, blah, blah. I mean, no, they're like, oh yeah, you got a sinus infection. Here, take this. You'll get better. But
Right.
you trust the doctor's prescription and diagnosis by how he goes through his procedure to evaluate you.
Yeah, that's actually great. Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So I
Right.
think you hit the nail on the head. You can disperse stuff for free, but you have to, at one point, it has to stop being about you and how great you are. And then all of a sudden you transition into, well, why are you asking? What's the
Right.
problem that you're having? What are the symptoms? How long have you been experiencing this? What have you tried? Have you done, what are you looking for? Right? That's, I think, where you have to get out of your own head and really focus on them and what they want, and then and like I love that you said you close first and then present, because I think that that's a good tidbit for people to remember if they're going to get into a sales presentation. If they're going to try to get to that moment, then they're not in teach mode, right? You're in close mode. Okay, so you're looking for a solution to this. Got it. What's the problem? All right, let's close first. So what you're looking to spend, you're looking to get a mentor, you're looking to for a service, you're looking for an agency, you're looking for a hat, you're looking for something. Okay, okay, good. So if you can find one that fits all your needs, that's what you want to buy. Okay, perfect. Now let's go through the questions, right? And now it's not
Right.
even really about teaching. And when you are teaching, it's consultative selling. Well, you want this one, not this one, because this, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's a good
Yeah.
that's
You
a good
got.
tip.
Yeah. That's why I say like the questions you ask. I mean, they're good, but they're so broad. You have somebody brand new in business versus somebody 10 years in business, somebody with a team, somebody selling a complex, 5, 6, 7 figure sale, somebody selling a $100, $500 solution. You know, they're all different in a way.
Yeah, they are. You're totally right on that. I think and that's why I guess I was trying to get to principles and strategies, because like to avoid the tricks. If I was a team trying to, instead of talking about how to have good cop, bad cop, avoid that stuff from a principle standpoint. How do we approach this? And you've given some great tips. I mean, oh, so far you've talked about, first, your number one job is the prospect, because you have to have a constant flow of leads if you're going to be able to hone and craft any skill. If you don't have a regular set of training partners, you're not going to be able to get better at jiu-jitsu, right? If you're not constantly whacking balls, you're not going to get better at golf. So yeah, number one job is the prospect, to make sure you've got people to practice with, right? First and foremost. Then you have to
Right.
trust the process. You have to be about it this day in, day out, and that realize that you're in it to get better, right? And to detach from the results. And that you can give it all away just to get their interest. Give it all away to get their interest, and then the people will pay for the convenience and the speed and the custom fit, right? No, people don't buy shoes, they buy a walking shoe, a hiking shoe, a dress shoe, a water shoe, a specific purpose shoe. So you can give all the context away for free or all the information for free, and people will pay for that custom fit, pay for the convenience, pay for the speed of it. You also gave us the salesagenda.com, which is where we can go to get an agenda on how to structure, I guess, and how to plan our sales process out. That way, we're not just kind of winging it as we go along. And then I love the great tip you just said for the number one question is when people are like, well, how do you get out of teach mode and conversation mode and into actually selling? And I think that's just a fantastic tip. Close first. So what are you looking to buy? Just right off the bat, like, are you looking to do something about this now? Like, are you looking to buy something now? Like, what are you doing? You just trying to ask questions so you can go figure it on your own, or what's your goal? Oh, okay,
Yep.
right. Oh, okay. You want? Oh, perfect. All right. Well, let's talk. Let's get some questions going. Right. What's this? Tell me about your scenario. And that also helps establish you as an expert. And also the whole thing where people say, people don't know how much you care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right?
Right.
And that's where I think now the other fundamental of this is get out of your own way, right? It's not about you. That would be the next thing I would add. Like, get out of your own way. It's not about you. It's about
Right.
them and the pain that they're trying to solve.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to get money from every single human being I ever speak to. Right.
Right. That's what I always
Assuming
say.
it's assuming it's the right solution.
Right. That's
I'm not going to sell my mom HubSpot.
yeah.
You know, but if she's working with an organization, she does a lot of volunteer work and blah blah blah. Okay, maybe that organization needs it. Okay, I'm happy to sell it to them, even though it costs money. If it solves a pain, the doctor doesn't feel bad because he charges you for surgery, right?
That's right.
You know, if it gets you better, they gladly take that money.
That's right. And I often hear when people say that or complain that like the economy's bad or there's no money here and that, I always say, well, look around. Everybody in this room has pockets. Everyone you see on the street has pockets, and most people have some money in those pockets. So every time you see a pocket, there's typically some money in it, right? Every time you see someone wearing a pair of pants, you've got a credit card, they got a debit card, they got some cash. There's money out there. What's missing is a reason for them to give that money to you. And part of that comes from not understanding them or their pain or the problem that they're facing and right and knowing how you can help them with that.
That's it.
So then AIDA, attention, interest, desire, action. So Wes, you've given some great advice here. You gave me some great tips, and I one of the things that I love about this so much is that you've kind of beaten the drum of needing to really just be in it to develop the skill. That there's no real quick fix, and that it's about being some. So whether someone's listening to this and they're a sales professional at the company, whether someone's a business owner listening to this, whether they're a marketing consultant or they're an affiliate marketer, they understand that, all right, this is something that's an ongoing process. I have to understand that this is a skill I need to develop. And now you've given some really practical skills like, look, I need to keep prospecting to make sure I'm practicing this on a regular basis. How many prospects did I generate this week? How many prospects did I generate last week? A lot of people don't even realize that when they're in their business. And then you gave some other great tips that they probably should get a coach. If they want to be serious about this, if they want to have less pain and suffering and embarrassment and make fewer mistakes and have better tact and better finesse and just be received better and a better success rate, that the best thing that they could do would probably be to have a partner look over their shoulder and help them, right? To observe what they're doing and give them feedback. No one's ever gone to the Olympics and won a gold medal without a coach. It just hasn't
Right.
happened, right? It
Right.
just hasn't happened. Not yet. No one's shown up at the World Championship and been like, oh, look at that. I beat everybody else in the world and I did it without a coach. So that,
Right.
it really, so again, I think you gave some really practical tips, avoided any fancy bells, whistles, tricks, the two-person close. And to me, that makes you a really credible expert. Anyone listening to this, if they want, they can go listen to the or go to the salesagenda.com, pick up that sales agenda. Wes, I'm sorry, what was your podcast again as well?
It's thesalespodcast.com.
There you go, thesalespodcast.com. And if anybody wants to reach out to you in person and say, like, Wes, what do you like? How do I work with you, engage with you personally? What's the information for that?
Yeah, they can get it. Either of those websites redirects to my website at thesaleswhisper.com.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll send you to a landing page on the site, and so from there, there's all my contact info. Contact us. It's all there, and so you can fill that out, and that'll come to me.
Awesome. And so, Wes, is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you?
Good grief, man! You asked me everything. I gave away the secrets I don't normally talk about. No,
Well, I appreciate you
no,
joining and
this
spending.
was pretty broad, so and deep. So no, this was good, man.
Yeah, good, good. Well, I appreciate having you here for a return. If any of you just listened to this and want to hear more of Wes, you can go check him out at thesaleswhisperer.com, thesalesagenda.com, or you can go check out our first interview we did with him and find out more about his background and how he became so good at what we talked about today. So, Wes, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. It's always an honor and a pleasure, and I appreciate you coming and sharing with us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
You've reached the end of our interview. Now, first, let me thank you for listening. I appreciate and respect you more than you'll ever know. And now I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. First, what 3 lessons did you just learn? What 3 aha moments just jumped out at you? Second, what can you implement for yourself and your business in the next 24 hours? Third, what can you give to someone else to help you with, or give to them to just do it for you? Whatever it is, remember taking action is the secret sauce to results. Now, if you think this interview would be helpful for a friend, please give them a link to it. It'll help them and it'll help me too. I'd also like to invite you to help me find out more about the challenges you're facing, your dreams, your goals, and how I can help you overcome what's holding you back. We both do better when we know better, and your success is my success. So please reach out and interact. You can visit our website, bestbusinesscoach.ca for Canada or California, where I'm from and where I'm living. You're welcome to also try out one of our paid programs. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and pretty much every other social media channel you can think of. You should also subscribe to the podcast, and if you're enjoying them, please leave us a nice review. It really helps. That's all for now. Once again, thank you. Take care of yourself, and remember, the world needs the best business you can build. And I believe in you. And I believe in you. And I believe in you. And I believe in you.